So, as some of you already know, we are currently 19 days out from show day, so I figured I'd show you everything I'm currently eating, plus what my training looks like leading up to show day. Starting with meal number 1. You want to know the secret to being consistent if fat loss is your goal? Here, come closer. Keep it simple. That's it. 2 eggs, 2 slices of turkey bacon, and watermelon. Great sources of protein and fat, which help keep me full, and a low-carb fruit to keep my energy leveled first thing in the morning. Man, have I been loving watermelon lately. The hard part is trying to find the right one when picking them out because, well, there are so many of them. It's like a draft pick out there when you're trying to find the best one. I'm sure if the watermelons could talk, they're like little minions, like pick me, pick me, pick me, but only if it's seedless. If not, well, I'm not taking you home with me. But in case you're like me and you just hope you get lucky, I'm gonna teach you 3 things I learned from ChatGPT on how to pick out the best watermelon. Number 1, look out for a yellow or orange spot on the side of its belly because this is where it sat on the ground ripening. Number 2, don't be afraid to slap that shit. I'm just kidding, don't do that, at least not in public. But give it a little knock knock, who's there? I'm serious. If it feels like a deep and hollow sound, that usually means it's juicy and ripe. And lastly, pick some up. It should feel heavy for its size because a ripe watermelon is mostly water. So it should feel heavier than it looks. There you go. If you learn nothing else in this video, at least you know how to pick out one of the best fruits for fat loss. Always some Cholula. Let's give it a little dip on the yolk. Meal number 2, the pre-workout meal. So I decided to change it up today because I always think it's important for me to show you guys that you can still enjoy your meals and the foods you love all while fitting them into your plan. But we're saving that surprise for the next meal, so stay tuned because you're in for a treat. For now, we are keeping it simple and having 1 serving of cream of rice, 1 scoop of protein powder, and a pinch of salt. And then the real pre-pre, we're going with stim today and hitting up the orange cream from Core Nutritionals. Even though I'm a bit bummed I'm not having my usual golden kiwis and rice cakes, but you can never go wrong with the simplicity of this meal. It's easy to make, hits every time, and is exactly what you're looking for a pre-workout. Simple carbs and a lean protein source that you know digests easy to give you that quick, easy energy boost. Now, combine that with your favorite Pre and G's discount code, and it's a date, baby. Oh wait, I need my cream of rice. All right, so what's on the menu for today? I think you guys are gonna like this one, especially my bros trying to get bigger arms. I don't think I've filmed an arm day recently, so today should be a good one. So by arms, I mean focusing on the side delt, the rear delt, the bicep, and the tricep. So we're starting off with a single arm lateral raise, supersetting with a rear delt reversed pec deck fly. And if I'm not too lazy, maybe we'll finish with abs at the end. Feel pumped already. 2 little sets, 2 exercises. Feeling good. So one little tip here I want to bring up and touch on is touching up a certain muscle group that you feel like is lagging and you're trying to bring up. So a little pro tip here would be adding that specific muscle group and maybe adding an exercise in the beginning of your training. So for example, side delts and rear delts were something that I really wanted to bring up this off season. So instead of doing the typical leaving it towards the end and maybe not doing it, putting it as a first priority, as the first exercise before going into my bigger compound exercises has really helped. So for example, like on a push day, most people are doing all their chest exercises, then their shoulder exercises, and then their tricep exercises. But if having bigger arms is your goal and you want to grow, let's say, your triceps, then there's nothing wrong with throwing in a tricep exercise as your first exercise and then maybe doing a second one towards the end. That way you don't totally fatigue your triceps going into your pressing exercises, but there's no real rule to it is what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, it's prioritizing what you want to focus on, and if triceps is what you want, add an exercise in the beginning while you're most fresh, while you can give the most energy, and then you can go into your next exercise. That's at least what I've been doing. So I know I've talked about this a little bit in my previous videos about my volume and where my intensity is at. So because I'm 19 days out from show day, my volume doesn't have to be so high. And because I'm still kind of feeling that drag and the fatigue from being in contest prep, from being at this low, body fat level, my volume is just at 2 sets per exercise, and my intensity is enough to still push myself, but not necessarily going to failure. So just enough where I can still get a good pump, but not overdo it. That way I don't continue to increase fatigue. But you, on the other hand, yeah, you still need to push that shit. Oh, baby. One thing I love doing, especially on a weak body part, is doing things single arm. Just allows me to really focus more on the muscle, really isolate that specific side even more, and then make sure that I'm not using both arms or both legs to create any momentum. So this way I know I'm really getting the most out of that muscle. And especially for me, where I know I'm not symmetrical at all, if I want to try and get an extra 1 or 2 more reps on my right arm, I help myself up, control the negative, help myself up because I'm fatigued already, and then control the negative. So especially if you feel like, your right arm is bigger than your left arm, or your left side delt has more of a pop than your right side delt, you can always add that extra 1 or 2 or 3 reps over time to see if it can help balance out that symmetry. But the only way you'll be able to do that is by doing it single arm. Wow, I got a nice pump there. This one is one of my favorite tricep exercises. Tricep overhead extension. Nice big stretch here. If you've never done these and you tried them, I promise you're not going to be able to shampoo your hair for the next 48, 72 hours. You're going to remember me. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that I know I talk a lot and do a lot of single arm movements, and not everybody's willing to do that just because it does require a little bit more time. So if you have the extra time and you're willing to dedicate the time, I would definitely suggest adding them into your routine, at least an exercise, because it really does help. Again, especially if you want to bring up a lagging body part. Oh, and yes, that was my elbow cracking. But I'm actually really happy because for those of you who maybe don't know or don't remember, this is my tricep that I fell on last year, where I partially tore a tendon in my tricep, and I was not even able to do 5 pounds on the cable. So the fact that I am fully recovered, much stronger than I was before, I am blessed, because triceps were something I really needed to bring up, and I still have to bring up. So I'm just grateful that I'm able to get back into my training and be able to push myself. Now, as far as those cracky elbows, my elbows and my ankles are extremely just chippy and cracky. I'm like that person that, like, as much as I want to scare you in the middle of the night, I wouldn't be able to, because I'm coming. Maybe click, click, it's G. Don't worry about it. Honestly, I love me a good chest pump, especially because that's a muscle group I need to bring up. I love when my lats are nice and filled out, but ain't nothing better than a nice shoulder where like your rear delts and your side delts are just popping out. But one thing I did want to bring up is I get asked a lot like, gee, what are the best exercises for side delts and rear delts and wanting to cap your shoulders out? Like, what do you do? To be honest, if I can pick one exercise for each, it would be the ones that you just saw me do. A single arm cable side delt exercise, and then a single arm rear delt. Again, with the single arm, I just personally love the cables, the tension, the smoothness of it. But more importantly, those two specific exercises, you're training the rear delt and the side delt in a very stretched position, which we know can lead to more muscle growth. So why not spend a little bit more time doing exercises that you're gonna favor the stretch position? And when I talk about the stretch position, just think about when we're doing a dumbbell bench, bench press. At the bottom where the pecs are really stretched, that's that stretch position where the exercise is most heaviest compared to when you're chilling up here and kind of relaxing and just thinking about what you're gonna do in the weekend, right? There's not much tension here. So if you can spend more time focusing, that's why you see a lot of like bodybuilders doing like those partial reps. And it's not that they're doing partial reps, or it's not that they're not doing full reps. They're just focusing and putting more time under tension where it really matters. So 2 exercises for side delt and rear delt, it would be those 2 right there. But all the ones that we've been doing today are good too. But again, if you were to ask me which ones would I go with for the rest of my life, it would probably be those. Someone's making some chicken and rice in here with some veggies. I can smell it. Now I'm hungry, especially for that treat I have for you guys for meal number 3. But this brings us to our last and final superset, which I just want to talk about. For those of you who are short on time, 30, 45 minutes, don't want to spend too much time in the gym, you may want to consider supersetting exercises, especially if you're dragging like me and don't really have that motivation, because right now, some days I want to be here and some days I don't. So a superset will really get you guys through your workouts really quickly. I would just suggest don't do the same muscle group in terms of supersetting. So for example, don't do a push-up going into a dumbbell bench press or a push-up going into a tricep extension, because you're working the same muscle groups. Therefore, it is going to be a lot harder for you to try and push yourself compared to if you do the opposite muscle group. So here, for example, we're doing a bicep and tricep, or how we've been doing a side delt and a rear delt. Think about like more like a push and a pull, a leg extension with a hamstring curl, things like that. And I'm not saying that is the best way to build muscle, but if you're short on time and you want to get a good workout and you want to keep it intense, that's something to do. But if you don't have to do that, then I'd recommend just keeping them straight sets. Oh, we're going with a good old traditional alternating bicep curl. Okay. All right, let's check out the arm pump before we get kicked out. We're not supposed to take our shirt off here. Whew, I feel good. One thing I did want to show you guys is check out the back shot. I just want to show you guys this real quick because I've been taking progress photos, and I tried something a little bit different. Started messing around with some classic poses, even though your boy's doing the men's physique. But my back and the feathering in there was crazy. So I'm gonna show you real quick before we get kicked out. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys were able to see it, but it was there. Okay, let's get out of here. I'm hungry. You ready for this? Meal number 3, protein cereal. What do you mean protein cereal? Is that like the Magic Spoon protein cereal? No, I'm talking about grab your favorite cereal and instead of just having this with milk and making it a carb bomb, add a scoop or 2 of protein, combine it with some Fairlife milk and double up on some protein gains. Mix that together and now you have a quick, tasty, high protein cereal treat for post-workout. You can thank me later. This is literally a damn treat. The only downside is that it doesn't last long. So eat it slow, enjoy it, but not too slow because you don't want the cereal to get all soggy, you know? So I have the Cinnamon Chex cereal because it's a rice-based cereal and it's gluten-free. And then again, I have my favorite vegan protein powder. This way I can guarantee myself I won't have a shitty situation. Get it? Because I'm lactose and shitty. I thought it was good. So, Chex, favorite cereal, at least the one that I can have at the moment. Fairlife milk, add some more protein. Vegan chocolate brownie, mix it all together. We got 100 grams in here. Makes for a quick and easy post-workout meal. Exactly what you want. Something quick, fast, something to go right into the muscle. I just saved you. If you're a cereal lover, now you can make some gains out of eating cereal. I told you were in for a treat. Magic spoon. The only thing magic is this Menchie spoon that I've had for like 10 years already. Now, meal number 4 has pretty much been a consistent staple for me. 1, for simplicity, and 2, because it just tastes really good. So I have 98% ground turkey, rice, and a bunch of cucumber. Now, I've been doing cucumbers recently because it's so quick and easy to chop them up, and it adds a nice crunch to my meal. Now, before I was doing a bunch of veggies like squash, zucchini, or frozen broccoli, but this has become much easier, and they add that extra value of being low in calorie, great on volume, and awesome for extra hydration. And can't forget my mustard. I usually eat this with chopsticks, but because I am in a bit of a time crunch, we are going with a small spoon. Not a big spoon, but a small spoon. Balance. And that is meal number 4. You hear the crunch? It makes a difference.
Ready, Zoe? Meal number 5.
Made by Babe. Now, for those of you that have been following, well, you know the vibes. Whether I'm eating 800 or 4,000 calories, well, first, I never hope I would have to eat 800 calories. But anyways, this meal is a non-negotiable for me. It is just so damn good that it hits the spot every time, especially because it's after a full day of work, clients, training, cardio. So it's a nice filling meal that makes me happy, full, and all while still hitting my goals. And you can't forget our diet soda because you can't have a burger bowl without a Coke. And for those of you who are new here, this is basically just potatoes, lettuce, tomatoes, ground beef, and mustard and ketchup. And that's it. Zoe, any words?
She has a lot to say.
And that is meal number 5. Ooh!
I love you so much, but you're gonna have some more.
That is salty. I love it. Meal number 6 and the last meal of the night. This is my dessert. A Greek yogurt bowl with frozen berries, some peanut butter, and some Rice Crisp cereal. Now the hack here is mixing that all together and putting it in the freezer for like 20 to 30 minutes. I don't know why, but the texture and the consistency just makes it that much better. Trust me, just give it a try, but don't let it sit for too long. And that's pretty much it, guys. So today's total is 2,719 calories with 219 grams of protein, 370 grams of carbs, and 50 grams of fat. And that is everything I'm having 19 days out from show day. I appreciate you all for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll catch you all in the next video, baby. It's almost showtime. Again. Gotta go back to watching Harry Potter. Season, or episode, or movie 5.